Hello, magical beings, and welcome back to another enchanting episode of Bippity Boppity Boss. I'm your host, Belle, and here to sprinkle a little bit of stardust on your day. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that is both fierce yet fascinating. Witches as the original rebels. We often think of witches as cauldron stirring, spell casting, broomstick riding figures, but they are so much more than that. They were defiant, powerful, and stood against the norms of their time, making them the ultimate rebels. Let's explore how witches have always been at the forefront of the resistance and transformation. Witches have always represented untamed primal forces, one that the world has feared, misunderstood, and in many cases sought to silence. But that's exactly what makes them rebels. From the ancient witches of myth to the wise women of the village, these figures have embodied autonomy, knowledge, and power that defied the status quo. And what happens when a society feels threatened by something it doesn't quite understand? It tries to control it, or worse yet, completely destroy it. Let's go back to the Middle Ages and the infamous witch trials. During this time, women who were healers, midwives, or simply living outside of the rigid expectations of society were often labeled as witches. They were rebels because they had power and knowledge, whether through herbal knowledge, spiritual insight, or simply through the audacity to live freely. They represented a threat to the patriarchal systems that sought to control them. By owning their bodies, their wisdom, and their magic, they embodied rebellion in its purest form. The witch hunts were, in many ways, a backlash against women stepping into their own power. It was a systemic effort to crush rebellion and silence those who dared to live on their own terms. But despite the persecution, witches, both literal and symbolic, survived. They evolved. In the modern world, the witch has become a symbol of female empowerment, of pushing back against oppression and living authentically. And what do rebels do? They transform society. They inspire others to question the systems in place and carve their own path. And that's why the witch archetype has never truly died, because the spirit of rebellion is something that can never truly be extinguished. In today's modern world, the witch has been reclaimed as a feminist icon, a figure of autonomy, self-love, and magic in everyday life. We see it as the rise of witchy fashion, crystals, tarot, spiritual practices rooted in ancient esoteric wisdom. It's a movement that embraces the witch not as a villain, but as a visionary. The resurgence of witches today reminds us of one simple truth. Rebels never really die. They adapt, evolve, continue to challenge the structures that limit freedom, creativity, and truth. Whether you identify as a witch or not, this archetype invites all of us to embrace our inner rebel, to ask the hard questions, to reject what doesn't serve us, and to walk a path that honors our highest selves, even when, especially when, that path is unconventional, uncertain, and untested. So let's raise our wands or our coffee mugs or whatever symbol of magic you hold close and honor the witches of history, the rebels of today, and all the power within us to create change. Thank you for joining me on this mystical journey. Stay magical, stay rebellious, and as always, remember that you are the magic. Until then, we'll see you later on Bippity Boppity Boss.